Okay.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is a short talk about my book titled The AIDS Crisis, a natural product of modernity's sexual revolution. Now, this book is based on the following argument. That is, the issue of prevention of AIDS is not a medical issue. It is medical plus cultural aspect. And the cultural aspect and the spiritual aspect is more important than the medical, because the medical actually has no role. Why? Because AIDS, there is not yet any cure or vaccine for AIDS. So the medical people, it's not like syphilis, which had been also an epidemic, pandemic. They found certain antibiotics and it is solved. But here, there is no way. The virus of AIDS, the retrovirus, is one of the quickest to change, to mutate from form to form, even more so than flu or influenza. So it is really very difficult to get rid of it. In this case, what is left? What is left is the behavioral aspect. We first make people aware of how AIDS can infect, and secondly, we devise a method by which people can use in order to behaviorally stop themselves from being infected. Now, the Western world, with their sexual revolution, with their democracy, with their aspect of looking at the individual as the most important in comparison to the society, what is it? The system used in the West for prevention is what? It is based mainly on wearing condoms. If a person is a drug addict, to use a clean needle and syringe. Secondly, to avoid risk groups. And thirdly, to keep as much as possible to one partner. Now, why do they say one partner and they don't say keep to your spouse? Because here the spouse, the partner, can be a man and a woman, or it can be a man and a man, or a woman and a woman. So here, the approach of prevention in the West is based on the culture of the West. In the Islamic world, in other parts of the world, the religions are different, cultures are different, spiritual motivation is still there. So it was a big mistake for the people in Africa to adopt the Western model. This what is called as the this model of prevention, which is actually works in order to allow the sexual, not to stop the sexual revolution, but to make it pass this way or the other, so that people will avoid being infected. Now, what happened? I mean, the book, my book, is mainly to say that if you try to bring a form of AIDS prevention without taking care of the differences in culture, differences in religion, differences of nationality, indigenous values, without taking this into consideration, I look at it as if we are transferring an organ, a donor is giving an organ to another patient, without taking into consideration the blood group, this can result in the death of the one receiving the organ, or at least it can really make him more ill. This is what happened in Africa. Uganda became the most infected country. Why? Because they applied the system blindly. Then they came to the point where they say, wait, let us see. And then they came up with this ABC approach. A, be abstinent if you are not married. B, be faithful to your spouse. And C, if you cannot resist fornication, then wear a condom. Now, I think this is the gist of what I was saying in my book. The important thing about the book is that the Muslim world was waiting for such a book. I'm not trying to boast. I'm too old for boasting now. But the important thing is that when my book came out, it was quickly translated to Muslim languages. It was translated to Bosnian and published. It was translated to Arabic by this Islamic University in Sudan. It was translated to, now it is being translated to Indonesian and to the language of East Africa. Here we see it was also translated to Russian and published in Russian by the International Institute of Islamic Thought. What does this mean? It means that the Muslims were waiting to see if there is a way by which they can prevent AIDS, but by methods that come out of their own religion as a way of life and out of their own indigenous culture. Now in Uganda, though it was the most infected country, once they have chosen a number of villages and used the imams in these villages to give the message of this ABC approach: abstinence, be faithful, or use a condom when you cannot avoid being trying to have sex with somebody other than your wife. When this happened, the rate from 21% it came down to 6%. This was a great achievement, much greater than anything else that had been done, to the extent that the Surgeon General in the United States spoke, let us apply this African method, let us apply the ABC. So this, to my mind, is a very important thing. When we talk about AIDS prevention, at times we will be talking about what we call cultural conflicts. You know, in one of these international conferences on AIDS, one of the great speakers spoke again about the ABC approach. When he mentioned the ABC approach, everybody in the hall, they booed him. To hell with you, this is not the way what we want. Then he started to attack the ABC, they started to clap. Now why? Because actually, as one great scholar who has served the cause of prevention in Africa more than anybody else, his name is Edward Green. He is professor in Harvard, professor of social studies, an area in social studies. But he went to Africa, he worked with the Africans, so he says that this ABC approach is an enemy of the sexual revolution. It's against the whole cultural outlook of the West. That is why they are against it. So now we really, I am very glad that this book has been able to make all these changes. When first appeared, published in 1997, it was distributed by Barnes and Noble, and they gave it a 5-star grade, which is the highest they can give for a book in their sale. Now this, to my mind, is because many Muslims started to buy it, and up to now, the book is 13. It's the latest edition of the book that was published. It was published, the 3rd edition, in South Africa, and the Medical Association of South Africa decided to give it the award of the best contribution to Islamic medicine for the year 2000. In Sudan, it was given what is known as Zubair Prize, which is the highest prize given to any academic work. This, to my mind, is it is only because the book was written. It was timely. It was written at a time in which people were looking for such a kind of prevention. So I'm happy. Now I'm working on the 4th edition. I hope it will come soon. Thank you very much indeed.